Hey guys, it's 258. Welcome back to Your Family and You, Chapter 4. I literally just read all these chapters back to back, so I'm happy about this. Anyways, last chapter, they were off playing a game, and I think Ebony went off to go get some drinks or something, or some pizza. I don't know, actually. I'm pretty sure it was pizza. Just saying. Anyways, this chapter is called Splish Splash, which I'm pretty sure clues in that this is gonna be about, what you call it, a pool? I hope so. Anyways. Sorry if I'm reading too fast. I'm hyped. I'm actually happy that there's a sequel. I didn't expect there to be a sequel because, the story is basically over except for, Twilight being pregnant. But pretty sure that Twilight still hasn't said anything about that to our main boy out here. Alright, sorry if that... I'm just a little bit upset because Twilight's just gonna, do the same thing when she was trying to tell Max her love for him. Which is kind of makes me mad because Max loves Twilight no matter what. I'm just like... You should know that she has your kid in there. And my boy, and the whole reason why she has a kid in there is because the element of, not the element of harmony, but the tree of harmony is the one that basically let it happen, which I'm just like, this tree is just making sure Max has a good life, and I'm happy about it. But at the same time, she didn't really show Max what he needed to do when he was transferred into this world. So I'm kind of a little bit mad at the Tree of Harmony, but at the same time I'm mad that Twilight's probably not gonna say anything to Celestia, Mother, or Max for that matter. Because Luna knows, because Luna was there when she found out and when Twilight found out. But Celestia, Twilight's mom, family, and Max don't know, and I'm just like, why don't you tell her? So God, this is gonna be about this. All right, let's see where they're at because we're still been in the library. I hope this at least moves a little bit out of the library, but I doubt. Let's go. Let's hop right into it. Chapter 4: Splish Splash. It was the clinking of glass that woke me up. I was say woke, but I didn't really feel rested. My head was throbbing, my neck was stiff, and there was a bad taste in my mouth. Excuse me. A thick film of old alcohol covered my tongue and throat, smacking my lips. I attempted to shift into a more comfortable position, only to insist my cheek peeled off of whatever I had been sleeping on. Ugh, that's disgusting. Eyes still closed, I rolled over, expecting to find the soft comfort of bed sheets. Instead, I got a hard piece of wood to the face. Leaning backward, I clamped to my nose as a pain lanced through it. Motherfucker. The world spun as my head throbbed, with the stars flashing before my eyes. I rolled my nose before glancing at my hand. I breathed a sigh of relief upon seeing my fingers come away clean. Despite the pain, I at least didn't have to deal with a bloody nose as well. Rubbing my sore schnoz, I glanced around to see what I had hit. Much of my confusion, I was scared that I wasn't in bed, as I had previously thought, but rather I was strewn out on the second floor balcony of the library. It didn't take a genius to figure out that when I rolled over, I had smashed my nose into one of the wooden balusters. Several empty bottles with whiskey laid off the side, so that explains the source of my headache. My boy, you got drunk! Nice! The sound of clinking glasses came again, and this time I was able to determine that it was coming from below. Rolling carefully onto my side, I peered between the balusters and down into the library proper. The place was trashed. A dozen or so pizza boxes covered the table, a few of them still containing several slices of pizza. What looked like 3 decks of cards had been thrown about. A couple of them even stuck to the walls. Along with them, the pieces of the Hail to the Fungin game were discarded as well. Bottles of whiskey and cider lay scattered about the floor, all of them completely drained. Ebony was passed out in the corner of the room, her head propped up on the keg she was cuddling. Primrose was asleep on the couch, a raspy snore escaping her lips every few seconds as she slumbered. And as for Vera, a quick glance upwards confirmed that she had taken refuge in her usual alcove in the wall, although she appeared to be upside down. I studied the scene before me until the throbbing in my head grew worse. Witnessing in pain, I leaned my face against the balusters, the cool wood feeling wonderful against my aching skull. As I rested through, the second clinging of glass came. Getting an eye open, I watched barely as Paris picked her way through the battlefield of bottles. Her bare feet were silent on the wooden floor, only making her sound whenever she bumped into one of the bottles. She worked her way onto the room. Until she reached the stairs. I lost sight of her when she started to climb them, but then she reappeared beside me a moment later. Keeping my head brushed against the banister, I turned to stare up at her. Alpha, she cocked her head to the side inquisitively. Bathroom, I croaked back. She cocked her head to the side as she contemplated what I said before nodding. Wordless, she bent down and rolled me onto my back. I groaned at the movement and groaned again as she hooked her arms under my legs and back. She then proceeded to lift me bodily into the air with very little difficulty. Wait, she's picking you up? What? It came as a shock to everyone in the library when we discovered that, despite being a head smaller than me, her aid was unbelievably strong, strong enough to lift the couch that Ebony and I were sitting on in order to get to the apple that had rolled underneath her lithe frame, bellied some serious muscles. Holding me against her chest, she hauled my ass up another flight of stairs before we reached the bathroom. You got a little... Piracy was unbelievably... Okay. Why? The jostling of her steps did not help my discomfort, and just as she was pushing open the door, the throbbing sensation moved from my head to my stomach. Put me down, I mumbled. When she gave me a confused look, I began to struggle. Put me down, she did, as instructed, and I barely managed to get to the toilet before my stomach decided to purge everything. Alpha, Piracy squeaked, alarm in her voice. Ah, fuck me, I grunted before feeling again. Okay, I'm feeling a little... Again, I gave tribute to the porcelain goddess after the third round. My stomach finally settled, spitting into the toilet. I groaned again before flopping against the wall. Porcelain goddess. Okay. You've been drunk before, haven't you, in this exact same toilet. Piracy crept closer. Alpha, live? I'll live. I grunted. I'm not happy about it, but I'll live. Holding my head in my hands, I groaned. Fuck that, tasted nasty. Alpha, hurt? Yes. Piracy to help? Quickly I opened. I stared up at her through a bloodshot eye. After a moment, I nodded gingerly. Alright, can you turn the water on in the bathtub? This caused her to perk up. Bath? Yeah, you know, the bathtub. Bath! Suddenly, Piracy turned and scampered over to the wooden tub in the corner. I heard her rummaging around before the loud gush of water filled the room, but there came a pleasant, steamy aroma that hung in the air. Make sure it's not too hot, I called out to her, pressing my cheek against the cool toilet. There was a splash, followed by a hiss of pain. A squeaking sound brought about more steam. The blue one, I said, my eyes closed. The blue one, not the red one. Oh, more squeaking. More squeaking, and the steam slowly began to disperse. For the next few minutes passed slowly, me leaning against the toilet and Piracy splashing happily in the water as the tub filled up. I was so focused on getting my head to stop pounding, I didn't even notice the water had ceased until a gentle pair of hands were picking me up again. Alpha, bath. That was the only warning I got before Piracy dumped my ass into the full tub, clothes and all. Water cascaded over the rim and splashed down to the floor, soaking the bath mats in the process. I didn't struggle, choosing just to lie there as my clothing now clung to my submerged form, enjoying the subtle warmth of the water. Good job, I deadpanned. You're extremely disappointed, but whatever. She's not that smart, sadly. Bath! Piracy knelt beside the tub. The front of her shirt was now soaked, the wet material clinging to her pale flesh. Dipping her arms into the water with me, she rested her chest against the rim. Sighing, I leaned my head back and closed my eyes. Thank you, Piracy. Piracy to help? Yes, Piracy helped. She let out a please-sounding chirp before resuming her splashing. Fam, I don't know how I feel about this, because she's like, you know, not human, but at the same time she is human. Which is kind of like a weird thing. As I lay there soaking, a small smile touched my lips. The warmest water felt good, and I could feel my headache slowly receding. I was no longer nauseous either. If the grumbling in my stomach was enough anything to do by cheesy eggs and hash browns sounded amazing right now. A soft crunching reached my ears, and I huffed softly. Piracy, cracking open my eye, I looked over at her. She paused, glancing over at me innocently, even as she had a half-eaten bar of soap between her lips. We stared at each other for a moment before she slowly continued snacking. Her blue eyes flashed me curiously as she chewed the bar disappearing into her mouth. I'm just gonna let her do that? Forget it, I said. Her response was to burp lightly, a small stream of bubbles spewing forth. That's what I thought, I mumbled, resting my head against the lip again. For several seconds, I was silent. Then I turned to look at her again. Hey, can you give me a glass of water? She froze in the process of grabbing another bar of soap. Glass of water? I nodded. Yeah, a glass of water from down in the kitchen. She was silent, her eyes darting back and forth, before she suddenly bolted to her feet, and just like that, she was gone in a flash, leaving behind a trail of water in her wake. Oh my god, man. Closing my eyes, I went back to my relaxing head still resting on the lip. I placed my arms on the rim of the tub as well. My wet shirt clung to me, sending goosebumps down my arms as it showed my skin. It felt really good against my heated flesh. I dozed, floating in and out of consciousness for a few minutes until I heard the bathroom door crack open. A moment later, a cold something pressed against the back of my hand, and it took me a second to realize it was a glass of water. Reaching up, I grabbed the glass. Thanks, Piracy. I began only to freeze when I felt a familiar feeling of magic. Opening my eye, I saw that the glass was surrounded by a rosy cloud of magic. A glass, and off to the side revealed the owner of said magic. Twilight looked exasperated. We stared at each other, and neither saying anything from downstairs. I could hear the clink of bottles being picked up and the telltale sound of a broom being used. Twilight cleared her throat. Oh, you're back, I said lamely. Yes, I'm back, Twilight said with a nod. There was a pause before she asked, do you mind telling me why the first thing I see when I get back is that the library has been completely trashed? Pizza boxes, bottles, and cards everywhere. We were having a game night last night. I answered, you know, food and games and a very good time. And a very good time, blah, blah, you says it like that. Twilight just continued to stare at me, her expression changed. Game night, huh? Then might I ask, why are there currently 3 ponies out there, all of whom who are completely passed out? It was quite the game night. What? You're hungover again, aren't you? It wasn't a question. She damn well knew the answer. Yeah, she's your mate. Of course she's gonna know. Closing my eyes, I rubbed the bridge of my nose with a groan. I had been hoping that she got home later in the afternoon, but it would seem luck wasn't with me this morning. So what if I had a few drinks last night? I asked. I didn't do anything strenuous, but he went to go get the pizza, and I went to go get the cake from Sugar Cube Corner, and nothing bad happened. Why is it such a big deal? Twilight gave me the credits look. Why is it a big deal? Because we've been home from only a couple of weeks and you've been hungover for half of the mornings. It's too much. Streaking on occasion is one thing, but you've been doing it so much more than you used to. She pauses. Sniffle escaped her. Please. I'm starting to worry about you. Silence fell over the bathroom from the half-open door, and we could hear the faint noises coming from downstairs. By the sounds of it, the others had been stirred into wakefulness, and we're in a similar state to what I had been in earlier. Another sniffle came from Twilight and aside. Reaching over, I grabbed a hold of her foreleg and pulled. She offered a little resistance as I heaved her into the bath with me. Water splashed over the edge again, but neither of us cared as she got comfortable on top of me. I waited until she was situated before wrapping my arms around her and holding her close, resting my head on hers. The smell of lavender filled my nose. She hummed, nuzzling my neck as she breathed in deep. Giving her a gentle squeeze, I murmured softly, "It's gonna be okay, Sparkle, but everything's gonna be okay." The end. Are you sure, Max? Come on, like right now we have to deal with your demons right now, Max. Like you've been through hell and back many times before, but you always never caused Twilight to worry like you have been now. Even Luna is worrying about you since you still have these nightmares, which personally I think it should have been like at least 2 days before you got over what happened in Counter-Lot with Discord and, you know, slapping Luna, not Luna, Celestia. But right now you're acting like, I don't know how you feel about your acting. Like normally you go to tip-top shape and make sure everything was okay, make sure Twilight wasn't worrying about you, but half the time you do something, she does worry about you because she loves you and she wants to make sure you're okay no matter what. At the same time, you're injured, so is Primrose. I'm not sure about the other guards. Primrose probably had the worst, to be honest, and you being stuck in your armor and, you know, falling like a couple feet off the ground, probably more than 100. It's kind of like annoying that Twilight has to see you injured time and time again when she just wants to enjoy spending her time with you, and she still hasn't told you about your kid, and that's bothering me the most right here. It's like she's pregnant. She probably hasn't told you yet, but she's pregnant. She probably hasn't told Celestia or her mother / family members, which she's probably want to tell you first, then she's going to tell that. And I do want to know how Nightlight reacts to this, and it's going to be great. I want to see the family react to the pregnancy. It's going to be great. I want to see it happen. Let's go. At the same time, Twilight like loves you, but at the same time, like this puts more of a strain on her than it does you half the time, Max. Come on, be a good mate to her. Don't worry about her that much. Anyways, thank you so much for listening to what you guys do, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.
100,000 stories have filled my head as I look for the answer in what I've read. Secretly waiting for my life to change, and with this transformation